What the fuck? Welcome back, everybody, to another YouTube video. My mood is a little low because the 49ers did drop a game this weekend. We'll get into that. Welcome to our top 10 power ranking leading into week 3. This past week was a lot of crazy stuff that happened. A lot of upsets. Basically an upset Sunday. Even Monday night was considered an upset. So definitely this NFL season is, how you say, drunk.
Julian. I don't know where I felt like I get a little drink around here, do you, bud?
There's no real way to point it. Teams that shouldn't have won. Teams that are 2-0 probably shouldn't be 2-0. But anyways, let's get into this top 10 power ranking, starting with number 10. In number 10, give me the 2-0 Minnesota Vikings. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, they should be higher. They beat the Niners. Well, the Niners haven't won in Minnesota since 1992, and whether this is the fact that the Minnesota Vikings are really good, which they're pretty good, their defense is on point. Brian Flores really has that defense rolling on all cylinders. That defense can do anything. They were stopping the run, they were stopping the pass. There's not much more like I say. Sam Darnold looks like a new quarterback, but I mean, he did look this way in Carolina, so I want to see more weeks to see if he can keep up the momentum and see where the Vikings go from here. But no JJ McCarthy, no problem. Sam Darnold looks like they're running this team pretty well, and we'll see how the Vikings can do, which they're actually in first place in NFC North, which is insane to think about. Nobody saw that coming. In ninth place, another NFC North team, which people are like, why ain't the Vikings higher? I don't think NFC North fans are that crazy. But I got the Green Bay Packers. No Jordan Love, no problem. Just like I said for the Vikings. Malik Willis actually looks like he could be a fairly decent quarterback given the right situation and a competent head coach. And he helped he helped the Packers get to a victory, which the Packers much needed due to the fact that they're going to be missing Jordan Love for maybe 2 more weeks. We don't know exactly for how long. But if he was managing to win this game and he still doesn't know the full playbook, because remember, he got traded to the Packers right before the season started. So he hasn't had an offseason with the Packers. He hasn't been able to build chemistry with any of the receivers. And he's barely learning the playbook. But the fact that he was able to win out a game is all you need to know. And the Packers are in good hand with Malik Willis up until the point when Jordan Love returns and takes back that starting role, because obviously he is. But Packers 9th place. Congratulations, guys. They're doing okay. Packer fans, it's gonna be okay. Last week, we asked ourselves, are the New Orleans Saints for reals? Are they really that team? Or did they just beat up on a poor Carolina Panther team? Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you without a doubt, New Orleans is that team. They put a whooping on them Cowboys. Like, they made the Cowboys look bad at home nonetheless. Not in the Superdome or the Mercedes Little Caesars, whatever the fuck their stadium's called. Not there. In AT&T Stadium. Cowboys fans ran in like they always do, like if their seat's going to get taken. And they got an ass whooping of generational proportions put on them by the New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr was over here hitting the Michael Jackson hee-hee scream in the end zone. Alvin Kamara, if you played against Alvin Kamara in fantasy, like myself, God be with you. Because he got 40 freaking fantasy points. The New Orleans Saints looked like they're back, and I thought their head coach was going to be on the hot seat. He's still an idiot, but the fact that the team's rolling on all cylinders just tells you, like, his job is safe. And this is no part of him. This is all thanks to Clint Kubiak, who came from the 49ers. I believe he was our passing coordinating coach. And yeah, dude, it's like he can call those offensive plays like no one else can. And San Francisco's showing that they're possibly missing him, but we're not talking about the San Francisco. New Orleans Saints in the 8th spot in my power ranking this week, and they keep climbing up. They're gonna only be higher up in this list. The Saints may be back. Derek Carr may be resurgent, and Derek Carr is a leading MVP candidate at this point. Yes, we're only 2 weeks in, but it's always nice to overreact in the first 2 weeks of football. This next one has a special place in my heart because Jim Harbaugh and the Los Angeles Chargers in the 7th spot in my power rankings. Jim Harbaugh is one of those guys who could turn chicken shit into chicken salad. because we were all expecting the Chargers to be bad. Like, not that Jim wasn't a good coach, but the lack of talent in that team, we thought he wasn't going to be able to do it. But he's reviving J.K. Dobbins. Justin Herbert seems happy playing football now. What was that? Who was the guy the wide receiver from the Chargers who was dropping on the pad? Was it Quentin Johnson or was it, give me 1 second. Yes, Quentin Johnson. Quentin Johnson can catch the ball, guys. Charger fans, you're going to be okay. It actually might be a tight little race going on there between the Chargers and the Chiefs. Yes, it's still early. And plus, let's throw the Raiders in there. They beat the damn Ravens. Raiders, I didn't put you in my top 10, unfortunately. But I will give you guys an honorable mention because you guys coming down from 10-point deficit against the Ravens and winning, that's pretty amazing. And I, as a Niner fan, I will give you guys props for that. Yeah, and Max Crosby, team player, helping Gardner Minshew get his ship together. But besides the Raiders, enough talking about the Raiders. We're talking about the Chargers. So, anyways, congratulations, Chargers. You guys are in the 7th spot. Jim Harbaugh is a phenomenal coach, and he is going to take you guys places. If he could do this with the team you have right now, imagine one should be able to attract some real free agencies and just see how good this team can be. I am very excited for the Chargers. Not too excited, but just excited enough to see Jim Harbaugh flourish again in the NFL. In the 6th spot, the Philadelphia Eagles. They very well should have won this play if Saquon Barkley could have just have caught that RPO pass. That would have literally iced the game. But he didn't. And Kirko Cousins, man, he managed to win a primetime game again, which I don't have them on my top 10 either, but honorable mention to the Falcons. Let's just say we'll put them at 11. We'll put the Raiders at 12 to straighten things out. But the Philadelphia Eagles looked very good for a good amount of time during that game, but then at the end, it just started like falling apart. Nick Sirianni, that RPO pass at the end was not a bad option. I actually thought it was actually a pretty good play because if no one's open, Jalen Hurts just take the sack, keep the clock rolling. You could waste like 40 seconds off the clock. But in that situation, Barkley was open. He was right there in the 1st-yard line. He could have iced the game. It was just unfortunate that he did not catch the ball, dropped it, which stopped the clock for the Falcons. And then they had to send the field goal unit out, and you know the rest is history. But I got I got the Eagles in my 6th spot. Still a talented team. Like I said, this was a really weird week of football where all like the powerhouse of the NFC, literally they all lost. So not much to really say about that. It's just football, man. Any given week, that is the ultimate expression. The Eagles are still in good shape because there's some injuries going around the NFC, and you know. We'll see how it goes because we're going to get to that in a minute. All right. Now for the 5th spot, we got the Detroit Lions. Detroit suffering a loss to Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers, who I also didn't include in this top 10 list, which now people are going to be like, oh, all the teams that upset are now included in the top 10. Well, it's because you got to look at it at a broader picture. Buccaneers are going to be very good, and low-key, they could probably beat the South, but the Saints are in it, and quick moment, the NFC South might not be as bad as the NFC South might not be as bad as we thought. They got the Bucks, the Saints, and the Falcons. 2-2-0 teams, and one team that was supposed to run away with the division. But anyways, we're talking about the Lions. Lions suffering a loss in Tampa Bay, and you know what? Again, weird week of football. Any given week, the Lions are still going to be a very great team. I don't see this hindering them long term. All this loss is going to do is make the race for the number 1 seed that much closer between the Lions, the Eagles, and the 49ers, and possibly the Cowboys, because you never know. But, you know, there's not much I really can say. I didn't really see this game at all. I was kind of watching on Red Zone because my team was playing at the same time, so I was more focused on that. But from the look of it, Baker Mayfield had a very good game and just outplayed Jared Goff, and that's just all there is to it. And really quick, for those of you who drafted Sam Laporta, like myself, what the hell's going on? He is not the tight end 1 like I expected it. I thought he was going to be a league winner. He is hindering me horribly. Oh my God, I hate fantasy this year. In the 4th spot in my top 10 power rankings, and this one pains me, I got the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers continue their losing streak in Minnesota. Since 1992 was the last time they won a game in Minnesota, and they've just lost every single game. I have never seen my team win in Minnesota. And you know what? Hats off to Brian Flores because he had a very good defensive scheme when it came to beating the 49ers. Brock Purdy took 5 sacks. And when I was looking back on the film, he held the ball for a long time. So I'm like, ooh, that's worrisome because like maybe he's looking too much for a big play. But then I saw another stat. The 49ers wide receivers right now rank dead last in the NFL for separation. So basically, they're not getting fucking open. And that is a big problem when you have Debo making like 24, 25 million. When you have Brandon Ayuk making 30 million. And let me tell you, he was literally paid because he has the best separation last year in the NFL. He runs great routes. He is just out of shape. And we saw that this past 2 weeks with him dropping a touchdown pass in New York and then just not getting open in this game when he was probably needed the most. And a lot of people are like, we're not going to say if Christian McCaffrey was in this game, we would have won because I honestly think it would have been the same situation. That defensive scheme was really good. Brock Purdy was holding on to the ball too long, which I think he was trying to do too much, which is unfortunate. But you know he's trying to win the game, and he had good stats. He threw for 316 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Just the Vikings had a really good defensive scheme, and Brock Purdy needs to like figure out how to like beat schemes like that. And this also falls down on a lot on Kyle Shanahan, which was horrendous play calling this game. First drive, no runs with Jordan Mason, the man who ran for 150 yards last week. No touches in the first drive. And then when he started running, he was averaging 5 yards per carry until the Vikings adjusted and contained him. But I digress. The Niners drop a game in Minnesota, and Deebo Samuel's not going to be out for 2 weeks. Now, am I ranking the Niners too high? Yeah, I'm a Niner fan. I don't care. But we got 2 winnable games coming up against the Rams, who basically the whole team's on IR, and the New England Patriots. Pretty good confident boosters, because then we're going to be seeing the Arizona Cardinals, who destroyed the Rams. And the Seattle Seahawks are 2-0 right now, but they probably won't be undefeated by that point. So Niners, the only good thing that happened this week is the NFC seems to be wide open because everybody freaking lost this week. But let's move on to the next team. In third place, I got the Houston Texans. Texans coming off a big win on Sunday night against the Chicago Bears. They played very well, very convincing win. Something just didn't sit right with me though. Like Chicago, they do have a better defense and they are a better team now, but I just can't help but feel with the offensive firepower that the Texans had that they should have put the game away a lot earlier. But nonetheless, they are 2-0. C.J. Stroud is still looking very good, and they do have a lot of offensive firepower. But I don't know why. I just felt like it should have been like, I don't know. I think the final score was 19-10. I just felt like it should have been like maybe closer to the 30s to like 10. But I mean, that might be discrediting the Bears at some point. But Houston, you're in the third spot, and you know what? You guys are going to be a really good team still, so it's still early in the season. Everyone's still working out all the rust. Now, for the team that's in second place in my NFL power rankings leading into week 3 are the Buffalo Bills. No Stephon Diggs, no problem. And you know what? Josh Allen didn't even have to do nothing this game. It was a James Cook game. It was just defensive masterclass. The Buffalo Bills are a very good team, and like I expected, everyone was like, oh, the Bills are done without Diggs. The Bills this, the Bills that. Their defense still looks really good after all that power they lost. Von Miller had a game, and you know, the Bills are still them. And you know what? I was saying it might be the Chiefs and Texans in the AFC Championship. It's looking like we might get another Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen type thing. But I digress. Let's move on to the number 1 team. And in first place, the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, last week, they looked very dominant. They looked very good. They looked like they were better than last year. This year, they look more down to earth now. So, maybe there's some things that are going on there. I don't know. They're still a very good team, and I am not going to doubt the Kansas City Chiefs ever. But there were some little crinkles in there. The Bengals could have won that game if it wasn't for a pass interference call, which I saw a lot of Bengals fans on Twitter like, oh, the refs always bail out the Chiefs, this and that, yada, yada, yada. Nah, man, that was clear as day pass interference, and your defensive guy screwed up right there. Now, there are some calls that the Chiefs always get, and the Chiefs do get a lot of favorable calls. No one's dumb to not admit that. But anyways, they beat the Bengals. The Bengals are 0-2 now. Kansas City's 2-0. But a huge loss to the Kansas City, just like the Niners this week. They're going to be losing Isaiah Pacheco for at least 6 weeks. So this upcoming week of football should be very interesting because Kansas City won't have Pacheco, and I don't know who they're playing, but I feel like they're playing somebody. I think they're playing the Saints. I could be wrong. And then the Niners don't have Deebo Samuel, and they still don't got CMC. So we'll see how it goes. It should be another interesting week of football. Tomorrow, my pick'ems will be out, so we'll go over who I think is going to win in week 3. But nonetheless, guys, it's football season. And if your team lost and they're 1-1, it's all going to be okay. Relax. It's still early in the season. If your team's 0-2, you probably should panic a little. And if you're 2-0, life is great. But there's still a lot of football. Anyways, guys, that is it. I will catch you at the next video.